This is Brooklyn on the Movie Wire.
The podcast you've been waiting for. The Movie Wire is your show. The place to find what you're looking for. Movie lovers, the time has come. The Movie Wire.
Welcome to this special edition of the Movie Wire. I'm your host, Justin Henson.
And I'm your better host, Brooklyn.
Wow, we're really starting early on this show, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh. It is Thanksgiving here at the Henson household, and we wanted to do something special. So Brooklyn is joining me on the show as we sneak in an additional episode with two brand new family films to review. One is for streaming and one that is playing in theaters right now. This week on the show, the sequel to 2007's Disney Enchanted entitled Disenchanted. Well, that is a clever title.
Oh, God.
Disenchanted. How long do you think it took for them to come up with a title like that?
They probably thought it was going to be a bad movie, so they only put the name for it.
Oh, you nailed it. I actually say something about that in my review, but no spoilers. We'll get into it. And now playing in theaters is a journey to a place where nothing is as it appears in the animated film Strange World. Ready for my verdict?
Wait. Can I do it?
You want to do the verdict line?
Yeah.
That's my line.
I don't care.
I guess.
Ready for my verdict? Let's get into it.
Out of the windows to watch a roar and a burst of flame. The Movie Wire podcast. We need people like me. The Wire.
And here we go.
Brooklyn, I was thinking, today is Thanksgiving, and I thought we'd do something a little bit, different before we jump into the next review.
Like what?
I don't know. It's Thanksgiving. I thought maybe we'd do something, fun, like say what we're thankful for. What do you think?
Yeah.
What are you thankful for?
What are you thankful for?
No, I asked first.
What are you thankful for?
No, I asked you.
What are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for, I don't know. We've met some fantastic people while doing this show, and I couldn't be more thankful for that. And you know what? Oh, God, I think I'm forgetting something. What are you pointing at? Are you okay? Why are you
Me, obviously. I'm pointing at myself. Doesn't that give you a hint?
God, of course, my dear. I am thankful for the lovely, beautiful, intelligent.
Okay, stop it now. Stop it.
Oh, so grateful for the day you came into my life. Brooklyn, I love you. My heart.
Okay.
This is where you say it back. We're having a moment. I just poured my heart out to you.
Well, I'm thankful for video games, art, music.
Ahem.
What?
Mm-mm.
What?
Mm.
My cat?
Mm.
My dog?
I'm thankful for you, Dad. I love you, Dad.
My voice.
Well, I'm thankful that you love those things. And I'm glad you find happiness in the things that you surround yourself with. Nothing compares to you, Dad.
What?
Nothing could ever compare.
Even my voice. That sounds like a toddler.
I do not sound like a toddler.
That was trying to sound like a girl.
Fine. I love you, Dad.
What?
All right.
I do better voices than you.
You can. Absolutely. This is not my forte. So, Brooklyn, now that with that out of the way, because that was an utter mess of...
Especially with your baby, trying to do a baby voice, apparently.
Yeah, that I failed miserably at that. So,
yes.
But we got a couple movies to review, and I thought it was cool that we are doing an extra episode just on Thanksgiving Day to kind of preview what to watch this weekend when families are out and about during Black Friday and all that jazz. So, Brooklyn, the first movie we are going to review is the sequel to 2007 Disney's Enchanted, entitled Disenchanted. Man, that title fits this movie. It's just shocking how a title can fit my review so well.
You know why they named it? Because when they named it, they already knew it was going to be a bad movie.
15 years after Happily Ever After, Gazelle questions her happiness, inadvertently turning the lives of those in the real world and Andalasia upside down in the process in Disenchanted.
I know that change can be scary, but it can also be exciting.
If I learned anything from meeting a princess on a billboard, is that sometimes you just have to take a leap.
Let's start our new life. Pretty soon, this whole place will feel like home, you'll see. It's all part of the adventure.
That's not an adventure, that's a landfill.
A land filled with adventure. Nancy Edward!
Robert! Congratulations!
Oh, it's what they call a fixer-upper.
Yes, once your peasants have dug out the moat and added a turret and a balcony from which you can sing. I see it now.
Okay. Melvina, Monroe, I would have sold you this house, but I deal in slightly more upscale homes.
In Andalasia, the hardest part of life is finding your happily ever after. This world's very different.
If this world is not to your liking, then you must change it.
I wish. I wish.
Jumping, jelly stick. Wait, how am I talking?
I wish. I wished for a fairy tale life, and it's all gone terribly wrong.
Or terribly right.
At the last stroke of 12, nothing will be as it was before.
Stepmother!
Oh, Giselle, what have you done? That's wicked.
Wicked good.
Here's another sequel to add to the Disney Plus lineup, and Disenchanted is a follow-up to 2011's clever and energetic film about an animated maiden Gazelle, played by Amy Adams, who's prepared to be wed to a prince played by James Marsden, until the evil queen, played by Susan Sarandon, sends her to the real world of New York, where she falls in love with Robert the lawyer, played by Patrick Dempsey. Now fast forward 15 years later, and the pair are still living together in New York, happily ever after, and have had a child together. Believe it or not, I was actually looking forward to this movie. I found the first Enchanted to be wildly entertaining and heartfelt, but unfortunately this sequel, the title, matches the tone and feel of the movie. Disenchanted doubles down on what of course fans liked from the first one. Sustained awkwardness from the way Gazelle is adapting to this non-animated world, musical numbers, overacting from its animated turned human characters, and its integration of magic into the real world. There is a problem with this strategy in numerous ways, and writers Bridget Hales, J. David Stem, and David N. Weiss, instead of getting creative with the material, they take the easy way out to almost an insult of intelligence to the audience. The biggest problem I have with this tale is that it takes place years down the road, and I am baffled that Gazelle still hasn't discovered how to adapt to the real world. She plays the same character she did in the original. There is no change to her character. Actually, there is no change to any of the characters. The film might as well have been set a week after the original movie, and even though Gazelle and Robert have had a child and Morgan is now an independent teenager, it would have made a lot more sense than what the writers try and trick us with. I mean, for example, we take Gazelle, who gives birth to a child, buys a house, and if our young character Morgan can grow and learn social skills and the ways of life, it baffles me that a grown adult, even though she came from an animated fairy tale, couldn't learn these skills, or at least learn in the last 15 years. Hey, I guess it's pretty weird to burst out in song in public. Well, maybe not in New York, but most places. Disenchanted brings back most of the original cast playing their original characters, except our young Morgan, who was originally played by Rachel Covey and now is replaced by Gabriella Baldacchino. And the cast is just as good as the first movie on staying true to their characters. But the problem here is the story and the dialogue. It's just bland, and it's uninteresting. It lacks what the first film was full of, which is heart. It truly has nothing clever to say, and when it tries to be funny, most of the time the jokes fall flat. It's like you're listening to Why the Chicken Crossed the Road joke for the 10 millionth time. We are introduced to a new villain that a lot of us can relate to, who is Melvina, the queen of the PTA and town, played by Maya Rudolph. which is the most clever piece of the movie, and you can tell she tries her best with the material, but you can also tell there isn't a lot of wiggle room for improvisations, and her performance feels constrained with no writers in her corner to back her up. Where the cast shined is when it comes to the musical numbers that all seem to feel comfortable and to be having a ball doing them, but the lyrics are ho-hum at best, with nothing that really stands out for repeat listen. The filmmakers doubled down on the amount of musical numbers in this entry, but this again is another prime example of what the first one does so right, by using the less is more to not overstay its welcome. The original had minimal musical numbers, but they were memorable, and when it comes to this entry, I forgot about them as soon as the credits rolled. The main thing that kept them afloat was how the cast executed the choreography of the numbers. Disenchanted is an odd duck when it comes to family entertainment. I don't know if it has enough here to keep young children entertained for the entire runtime. There is just not a lot here for kids or even adults. It often gets confused at its own identity of who is trying to appease. The film just follows these characters as they do their thing until Prince Edward comes into the scene, and his humorous overacting as he shouts his lines tends to wake the audience up as a reminder for us to pay attention. He is the best part of Disenchanted, just due to the fact he is the only character that makes sense to not have changed due to still living in an animated fairy world. The movie was directed by Adam Shankman, who has experience in family movies and musicals including Rock of Ages, Hairspray, Bringing Down the House, and Bedtime Stories. Shankman is a safe director for basic, generic, and safe comedic films. His creme de la creme has always been 2007's Hairspray, but the material composition was already created. He just had to have the right cast, in which he did. Shankman with the right material just has to play the good director and make sure the stellar cast is in the shot. That's the success he saw with Hairspray. In Disenchanted, he has the cast, but he has no good material that is written. So this shows Shankman's vulnerability as a director to attempt to put the potpourri over a big pile of shit. And unfortunately, he is not successful in this. Disenchanted is held together by a stellar cast that do their best and still remain likable on screen, and it's a good reunion with our characters, especially Amy Adams and Patrick Dempsey, but the writing is so generic and thrown together along with the musical lyrics that it's hard to care for any of the characters we see. The movie isn't horrible, but it definitely isn't good either. It will kind of just float in film purgatory until eternity. This follow-up sequel lives up to its title, but it should have been called extremely disenchanted and disappointing. I'm giving Disenchanted 2 stars. Now, we didn't watch this one together. I think we only watched half of it, and then I had to go do something, or you had to go to bed or something. I have no idea, because I usually look at your reactions when you watch movie. This is different for me. I wasn't able to look at your reaction, so I have no clue what you're going to give this movie. I am dying to know what you thought.
Well, I thought it was a pretty good, but also kind of bad movie. And it had some good parts, but also very bad, very weird parts. And I'm like, okay. I just finished this movie today, and I'm like, I don't know really what to say, because this was a very odd movie to watch. And I'm like, okay, so let's see how I'm gonna review this on the podcast. And there's one part I like about this movie. I forgot her name. It starts with the M. The daughter.
Oh, Morgan.
Yeah, Morgan.
Yes.
For some reason, I thought it was Mavis for a second there. I was like,
Mavis?
I don't know.
Where have you heard the name Mavis?
Hotel Pennsylvania.
What? A Mavis from Pennsylvania?
Hotel Pennsylvania.
Oh, Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah.
I was like, who the heck are you talking to in Pennsylvania named Mavis?
And I have a friend named Mavis.
Oh. No offense to Mavis. That's a great name.
You don't like it.
No, I think Mavis is a very unique name.
We all know you don't like it.
They can't see my face.
His face looks like he doesn't like it.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with a good Mavis name.
Yeah, you're just trying too hard to not lie.
Anyway, keep going.
And
you're doing great.
She's my favorite character in the movie. And I like the cartoon of her. That's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I think most of all of the characters look better in cartoons.
Yeah, and what made the first movie special, I think, is the animation was pretty clean. It looked pretty engaging. It was pleasing to the eye. So I think the animation is still top form here.
Yeah.
Because we're going to get into this. Last week we reviewed, or the week prior, we reviewed Spirited.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan at all of Spirited, and your pushback to me is that I love musicals. Have you ever heard me kind of a bad review or outlook on a musical other than Spirited?
This one.
Yes. Now, Spirited, I'm going to be upfront and honest. I've been listening to the soundtrack of Spirited.
Wow. Everyone.
Now, but I also said it in my review that the music, when it's not interrupted, is good. And I like the soundtrack because you don't have the interruptions or from Ryan Reynolds or Will Ferrell. Now, with this one, I wanted so badly to really enjoy this movie. And when I heard there was a lot more songs in it, I was getting excited for it because I love Disney music. I love the composition and I love the lyrics to a chunk of their work that they do. After the credits rolled, I could not remember one song.
Wow.
Okay, name one song, Brooklyn.
The names?
Yeah.
I don't know any of the names.
Okay, give me some lyrics.
I can't think
I'm
of...
proving you wrong.
I know them in my head. I just don't want to sing them.
Okay. Just say the words like you're talking.
That's the same thing.
No, I'm not asking you to bust out in song and put on your tapping shoes.
Oh, God.
So, but that goes to my point is you don't remember. I don't remember. Are you going to remember a week to 2 weeks? This hands down isn't going to go into the Disney's classics when it comes to its music. Can we meet halfway on that? Do you think this one is up to par with a lot of the Disney music out there?
No, I would agree.
So,
Don't me.
Going back to it, the first one, it didn't have as much music, but I still remember the music from that movie. And I think it was well written with that music. And that goes to the point, the less is more. When we get into sequels, we tend to get a lot of just fluff and just overly done stuff that try and appease the crowd. And I think they went a little overboard with this one.
A little bit.
Yeah. Did you find it weird? This movie took place 15 years after the original.
Yeah.
Don't you find it weird that Gazelle, did I say that right? Gazelle?
Mm-hmm.
Gazelle still sings in public?
No, I don't think it's that weird.
So in the first one, she came from an animated world and she could justify not being used to society, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? There's some cringy moments where it's a little awkward where she's busting out in song or she overacts in an animated fashion. In 15 years, she hasn't changed much. She still is very kind of awkward. She still sings in public. Don't you think 15 years is a long time to kind of learn maybe I shouldn't sing and dance in public?
Well, no, not really.
Oh, so do you want to go dance out in public?
No, I've never done that.
Let's do it.
No.
You said there's nothing wrong with it.
With her?
Let's go. Get your coat. Get your coat right now.
You're ridiculous.
Go on. Okay, here's the plan.
Shush.
Hear me out.
No, I will cover your mouth.
Hear me out. No, this is brilliant.
No, I will cover your mic.
On Monday,
I will cover your mic.
I will put on
I will cover
a
your
costume.
mic. I will
come into your math class and I will bust out in song and you can come up on the desk and join me.
She won't let you.
She won't know.
She'll yell at you.
No, that's the cool thing.
Cranky old lady.
That's the cool thing about musicals. They won't expect it. Maybe she'll come up and dance with me. Maybe she'll bust out in song. Maybe that won't turn her cranky anymore.
Help me, Lord, help me.
Oh, okay. After the show, I am going to write a musical about math.
Lord, help.
Okay. So what didn't you like about the movie?
Well, when she wished a fairy tale world and then everything went cringy and weird in the morning.
Yeah. And that, to me, I didn't have so much of an issue with that. But I think what I did have an issue with is the villain. I didn't really think she was threatening, and they tried to do some funny things with her. And the topic of her is pretty funny, but I don't think any of the jokes were really that funny.
And also, they try to make her look like a villain too much.
The visual of it it didn't match. I think you're absolutely right on that. There was something very off with it, and the way she acted versus the way she's dressed, it didn't really match. Yeah, I think you're spot on with that. Give me a couple things you liked about it.
Oh, I also liked how they drew the animation. It's way better than the one like 15 years ago. I also like the style that they made of the other characters
I like the style of the other characters. And the biggest thing that I kept this film afloat is the way the characters and the actors and actresses all work together. I think the chemistry was there. I think they flowed very nicely.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I am now dying to hear your review. I don't want to guess because I don't have enough information.
Just guess.
No, I'm going to make you sit there and suffer.
I triple dog dare you.
I quadruple dog dare you.
I triple.
Wait, I don't even know what I'm daring you for.
Yeah. Why are you daring me?
I dare you not to dare me. Ha.
That's not how dares work.
I want you to bring out the RCW, the law book of dares.
I don't have one.
Challenge you.
I don't have one.
I want to see your store policy on
I don't have one.
Then I guess there's no rules.
Wait, I have a Chromebook.
Then I guess there's no rules.
I'm going to look at my Chromebook.
All right. So, what'd you like better, Spirited from last week or this movie?
Spirited.
Yeah. We're coming towards the end of the year, and we're going to have a top 10 Brooklyn's movie list.
Oh, God.
You want that to be a musical?
No!
We can sing about your top 10.
Please stop.
All right.
I'll cover your mic. And that voice crack was hilarious.
I'm tuning my voice. I want to make sure my singing voice is up to par. I got you to sing. Ha ha. All right. So, Brooklyn, I am dying to know, what is your rating on this film? Disenchanted. I'm giving it 2 stars. What is your verdict?
Mine is 3.
3 stars. Wow. I didn't expect that. I thought you were going on the verge of maybe 2.5, but hey. All right. You ready for the next movie?
Yep.
Let's get into it. Now we have something special coming out on Sunday, and that is my appearance on Casting Views with Dan and Lou. Brooklyn, well, you like Casting Views with Dan and Lou.
Yeah, Dan and
You like
Lou.
those guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know your biggest fan is probably Dan. Dan loves your commentary on movies. I think he likes it better than mine.
I know, I bet. Everyone likes mine better.
Wow. Can't you just throw a compliment my way?
Nah.
All right. Fine. So those of you that are fans of Casting Views with Dan and Lou, or you haven't even listened to Casting Views, you gotta listen to their new episode. The link will be in the description. My appearance will come out on Sunday. Make sure to check that out. We're going to have a really cool topic talking about urban legends, and it's an episode not to miss. So make sure you tune into that episode, again, coming this Sunday. Let's hear from Casting Views now.
I'm Dan.
I'm Lou, and together we are Casting Views.
An uncle and nephew chatting on random topics, some heavy, some fun, but we aim to amuse.
Don't miss out, don't delay. Subscribe to Casting Views today.
You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and Good Pods.
And we're back with the second review of this show. Brooklyn, you hanging in there?
Yep.
Great. You ready for the second movie?
Yep.
A new animated feature, a legendary family of explorers whose differences threaten to topple their latest and most crucial mission in Strange World.
Prepare yourself for a journey beyond what is possible. Walt Disney Animation Studios proudly presents Strange World, a new motion picture event.
Brace yourself!
Travel past space and time to a place of infinite mystery, unlike anything you've ever seen.
Where in the world are we? What in the... We are in way over our heads. I'm not an explorer. I'm a farmer. Whoa. We need to get out of here.
If you want to back out, this is the time to do it.
Really?
No! Messing with you. Come on. Let's make history.
Now, this movie we're doing a little bit different because we literally just got out of this movie, so we're going to kind of do our first reaction review. Now, we had to get out of the house while food is cooked, tables are set, so we had to give some time for Mom to get things ready. So this is going to be a non-scripted review from me, and Brooklyn, you never run on script, so this should be easy breezy for you, right?
Yep.
Man, I'm in your world now. I'm not used to going off script.
Yeah, I think I'm better than you then.
Oh, we will see.
Because this man right here has to read something. I don't. I just go off like that.
That's what makes you the so talented,
Okay,
the
stop
brilliant,
I will
the
cover your mouth.
incredible Brooklyn.
Gosh.
Ha! I had to put that in there one last time. So my first reactions of this movie. Now, it's a unique animated feature. It's a plot line that I found very interesting when it comes down to it. The animation is solid, but at times can feel a little bland. The visuals, I feel, could have been a little bit more creative given how interesting the plot line is. Now, we have an all-star studded cast in this animated feature. We have Jake Gyllenhaal, Gabrielle Union, Dennis Quaid, and Lucy Liu. So we have an all-star cast in this, and on paper, this would look fantastic, but I was not a fan of the voice talents in this movie. At times, they kind of run like a little bit of a lullaby, and it's very soothing and relaxing, but they don't add anything unique to the character role. Their voices are very distinct when they are actually speaking on screen, but it just kind of blends together between each of the characters as they deliver their lines. I don't know, Brooklyn, let's get your thoughts on this. I don't want to hog the mic here. Brooklyn is feeling a little under the weather today. She has a little cold. And I'm sorry, it's on Thanksgiving too.
Yes, I've had this all week.
I know. You're a trooper, though. I'm glad you came on the podcast.
Yeah, today's the worst day because I'm even stuffier. I thought this movie was pretty good, and I love the colors they put in the movie and the storyline. It was pretty good. But also, the dad, I forgot how to pronounce his name, Jaeger Clade, right?
Jaeger Clade?
Jaeger. He was kind of weird movie.
Yeah, and I'm a huge Dennis Quaid fan. I love this actor, and the video didn't match the audio when it comes to his voice, in my opinion.
Wait, Quaid?
Quaid?
Yeah, it's like the same, besides the first pronoun. They're spelled different, but they sounded pretty much exactly the same.
That's a good ear and good eye. So, did you think the voices actually matched the animation?
Well, kind of, yeah. Dennis Quaid did not really, kind of didn't.
Yeah, I had a problem with Dennis Quaid's voice in this. Even though I think he's a very talented actor, I don't think he added anything to the character. Now, all the characters tend to have a characteristic of their voice actor, except for Jaeger Clade. I don't think it matched Dennis Quaid very well.
He doesn't look like his character at all.
Exactly. Yeah. And I had an issue with that, and it was very distracting to me. And the other issue I had that I just spoke to is the voices. They have some of the most mellow voices in Hollywood. It almost sung to me like I said before, a lullaby. It was very relaxing, but it was hard to keep attention to it. I think he even had to nudge me at one point.
Because you were falling asleep. He was literally mostly asleep. I literally shook him like, wake up.
Their voices were just so relaxing, and
obviously
it is. And it took a while for this movie to get going. So they kind of have a lot of fluff in the center of the movie where nothing really happens until the big reveal at the end, which we're not going to give away. But there's a lot of filler in this movie that you just want to push the movie along to get its point across, because there's not a lot that happens in the middle. It has a great first act, and then the climax is pretty good, but anything in the middle just kind of was eh. So would you agree?
Yeah.
What was your favorite part?
Oh, that's hard.
Well, let's start here. Did you find the movie? Because I'm viewing this movie as an adult, and that's why I love having you on the show, because you can review it as a kid. Do you think kids will like this movie and find it, most importantly, entertaining and keep their attention?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? So I'm just being a grumpy dad?
You're like Jaeger Clade.
He wasn't grumpy. Are you calling me a big masculine explorer?
No.
To climb the mountains.
No,
search for adventure.
All
right. For me, I just think I love the first half, and some of the issues that it addresses are really, some adults might have to have some conversations with kids. And I think the climax might be a little too complex for a lot of younger kids. There's a lot to the final act that really hits home and hits deep when it comes to symbolism of ecosystems. Would you agree? Do you think that this kind of the messaging of the movie might feel a little too complex for little kids?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, the visuals are spectacular when it comes to it, but I just think it's going to be a little too of a advanced storyline for kids.
And the colors in the movie, I feel like babies would like it because of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, the colors are definitely appealing to kids. I can picture that as well.
Yeah, but like the storyline, my baby brother probably not just sit through.
Yeah, and the runtime is a little long for what it tries to accomplish. And at almost a 2-hour animated feature with not a lot that happens in the middle, it can drag on a little bit, and I think kids will lose their attention span.
You know, I've been wanting to watch this for so long.
Did it disappoint?
No.
But I will give credit where credit is due. I think the characters are very well written, and I like the amount of diversity they put in this movie without making it preachy or a big deal. I think they added a lot of inclusion into this movie, which to me will make it stand out as special. I think that is one of the more important visual messages that this movie portrays versus the messaging at the climax.
And I realized they integrated the LGBTQ in this movie.
Now, what did you think about that?
I was actually so excited. My eyes literally like, yes, finally. This is the first movie that I've seen of it. But I was like, okay, finally.
Mm-hmm. And there'll be conversations around probably this topic. And this is where adults just need to have a conversation. But what I really liked about it is they didn't make it preachy. They didn't put it in your face. It was actually a pretty cute integration in it, I felt.
Yeah, they weren't trying to hide it or show it.
Yeah.
It was just in the middle. That's one of the parts I liked about this movie. Is like they didn't try to show it so much that you're like, oh, I don't like this movie because of how much they showed it and tried to make it show too much.
Yeah, and like I said, the integration in it it's cute. I mean, our main character has a crush, right?
Yeah.
And it's done very sweetly and innocently. And I think Disney did a fantastic job integrating this. And that's what I really liked about this movie, the innocence of it. Everything about the movie is innocence, all the way up to the messaging. And I love the amount of diversity they put in with the characters. It's a great example and a great message for kids. But again, at some point, parents just need to be aware there might be some questions that come up, especially if it's little kids that go to the movie.
But some kids might even know it because their parents.
Yeah. And I know we've had a lot of conversations over the last couple of years, right?
Oh, yeah.
About inclusion, diversity, and things like that. I saw your face when they showed it. I saw a smile come across your face. To me, that's how I can tell this movie was successful on appropriate integration into diversity in the LGBTQ community.
Yes.
So I thought it was very well done. And Disney has integrated some LGBTQ things into their animated films and their live feature films, but this one is probably one of their most well done integrations, I think. There's a lot in this movie that there's bits and pieces, if we can take it apart, that are actually really good. And the writing on it is pretty spot on when it comes to the topics they cover. The messaging is spot on, even though for an animated film, I think that might be a little too advanced for kids under, I would say, 7 or 8.
Yeah, probably. But if they're like little baby kids, like 2, or 1, they'd probably.
Yeah, because here's the deal. I like the messaging. I like the animation. I like the sense of diversity with it. What I didn't like was the voice actors for the main characters. I thought there were some issues with that. I think the middle was just full of some fluff that just carried the story along as it cruised, and it just didn't know where it wanted to go. And I think its target audience might be a little spot off when it comes to how it's marketed. I think it's going to be very hard for little kids to keep attention to this. Even in the theater in the showing we went, it seemed like kids were getting a little bit antsy. You can kind of hear them talking in the background. You see kids leaving the theater a few times during our showing that seemed to kind of just rush out of the theater. So it's a good indicator looking at the audience and seeing the young kids' reactions to see how kids will react to this movie. If I had to put an age range on it, I'd say nothing under 8, just for entertainment value.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But Brooklyn, I am dying to hear what you thought, because this is the first time we've actually just got on a mic right after a movie and just spoken our thoughts. So I have no idea what you're going to give this. So what are you giving it?
So hard. Like, this is like one of my favorite movies this year so far.
Really?
This is better than Lyle the Crocodile to me.
What?
This is better than Lyle the Crocodile to me.
Oh, so you gave Lyle Crocodile 3.5 stars. So if this is your favorite movie, what are you going to give it?
I had to do it a 4.
A 4. This is where we're going to disagree.
Oh, God. You're going to break my heart right here.
I'm sorry. I wanted to like it. I really did. And don't get me wrong. I was debating between 2 ratings. And I can't. And mind you, I was bouncing between 2.5 and 3 stars with this one. And I thought about it, and I really wanted to like this movie. I really did. And there is a lot of good stuff. But I'm going to give it a marginal 2.5. Barely a 2.5. I almost went with a 3 with it. But the voice actors just wasn't there for me. In the middle just kind of wasn't there. So holistically, it's a barely a miss of 3 stars at 2.5. So my verdict is 2.5. Why are you looking at me like that?
How could you hate this movie?
I didn't hate it. I said there's a lot of good stuff, but the middle wasn't there to push it over to a 3. I think the messaging is important. I think the animation's solid, but the voice actors in the middle I can't base a review just on the ending and the beginning. So that's my verdict. So Brooklyn, your verdict is 4 stars, right?
Yep.
All right. So Brooklyn, I want to say happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, Dad, and the people that are listening.
Absolutely. Again, we want to thank everybody for listening and your ongoing support. We want to wish everybody out there listening a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Brooklyn, it's time to eat. Are you hungry?
I guess.
Yeah, you are. All right, let's go eat ourselves silly. Say goodbye to everyone.
Why did you say that?
I don't know. I couldn't think of anything else to say.
Bye, people.
And that's a cut on this week's edition of The Movie Wire. I want to thank our young critic, Brooklyn, even though she's under the weather, for hopping on the show to help us review a Thanksgiving special episode with 2 brand new reviews. And don't forget to check out my appearance on Casting Views with Dan and Lou coming out this Sunday. I will leave the link in the description of this episode. And again, I want to thank you for listening and thank you for your support. You can also show support by following me on Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd at Movie Wire Show. And don't forget to leave me a review on Apple Podcasts. Until next week, do me a favor and make sure you stay for after the credits to show your support for those that put their blood, sweat, and tears into making a feature film. And don't forget to support your local movie theaters.
A verdict has been made on this episode of The Movie Wire by your host, Justin Henson. He thanks you for listening to the show. You can follow Justin on Instagram and Twitter at Movie Wire Show or visit his website, www.themoviewire.com. Oh, and don't forget to leave a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I'm sure he'd love to hear from you. Until next time, we will see you at the movies.
Thank you for bringing me to the movies.